Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN, caramba. And today we've got my guy Jez in the building. Jez, how's it going? How you been?
All good, man. All good. Looking forward to the game on Sunday. Bit of apprehension because we need those 3 points, man. And it's a must-win game for me. But yeah, looking forward to it. Always a good game, Arsenal, Liverpool, aren't they? So I can't really call which way it's going to go, to be honest with you. But we'll see. We'll see. Just please don't play that boring football, Mr. Arteta, because it costs us. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, let's get straight into the first headline. People, make sure you're subscribing to Arsenal, the history and more. The link to Jez's channel is in the title. Make sure you're supporting all the real ones. And make sure you're supporting Jez. Link to his channel is in the title. Now, I've heard a lot of conflicting reports. One reporter said he spotted Saka in training. I've seen other reports today, which is the one that I'm going with, which is Saka, Timber, and Calafiori all missing the training session. What do you make of these injuries? Do you think Saka will be back against Liverpool?
I don't know, mate. I'm the same as you. I've seen conflicting reports on this, so I don't know who's telling the truth and who's talking rubbish, to be honest with you, mate. But the fact is, I won't give us any credence until if he's on the park on 4:30 Sunday afternoon, then I'll say great. But I don't know. I just fed up with people that come up with bullshit. Basically, if you don't know whether the player's fit or he's injured, then just zip it because it's just waffle, man. No, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping he'll be there. I think we really need him. But Northside, would it be the old classic case of rushing him back too early? And I don't know. But hey, we'll see. We'll see, man.
I don't think if he's available, I think personally, I think they're going to be injecting him up. I don't think he's match fit, Jez. I don't think he's ready. No, I think Arteta, he always wants to count on Saka. He always got to play Saka. We've seen the way he's treated the boy over the last 3-4 years. He always got to play him. Every competition got to play him. Even when he goes out on international duty, he comes straight back. He's in the team again. And I just think he relies on him too much. And you can also see, I mean, a lot of people are saying we're looking at Saka FC in terms of our attack. If Saka's not in the team, if Saka's not scoring, I mean, who's really scoring? Who's creating? Who's actually stepping up to the plate? What do you make of that? Do you think we're looking very one-dimensional once Saka's gone and not in the team?
Yeah, I mean, we've got no other game plan, have we? I mean, come on. I mean, that game the other night, I mean, it was a ball fest. It was so lackluster. There was no intensity. It was, I mean, let's put it right. They could have equalised if it hadn't been from a fabulous save by David Raya. Right? They would have equalised. And we'd have walked out there 1-1. Totally different view of the match. I mean, I thought it was rubbish anyway, but I mean, it was 90 minutes of that. Honestly, I won't lie. If it wasn't the fact I was doing a watch along, I'd have turned it off. I'd have gone and done something else, mate. Be honest, it was that boring.
Go fishing.
yeah, it was terrible. And I was so annoyed. I actually said to Lee, right, on my fan cam, I might not even watch the game on Sunday. Of course I will. But I said I might just go out for the day with the missus. Go out somewhere if it's nice weather. But no, I'll be watching it, of course. But yeah, come on. We are just one-dimensional. We have no plan B or plan C. And we struggle. And let's be fair, Shakhtar Donetsk are a pretty poor team. Yeah, with respect, they are a poor team. Liverpool, different game, isn't it? I mean, it's a big rival for Arsenal Football Club, have been since the 70s. We haven't always done well against them at all for years. Got away with it last year. But without Odegaard, without Saka, it could be a totally, totally bad day out for us. So, and we need them 3 points to Northside.
Yeah.
If we lose that game, that's 7 points we're behind. I know it's not game over quite, but yeah, we got to do it, man. I think you are right in what you said. They will probably inject him up to get him through the game. I'm not sure I agree with doing that myself, but we know it goes on. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Do you know what's funny, Jez? He said, just after international break, Arteta said, when he was asked about other injuries in his press conference, he said before, Havertz has been playing with a knock, but we've been managing it. Now, how do you manage it? You're giving him something, which means what? If he gets clamped, or if he tears it, or whatever that's going on, that he has a little knock that they're managing, he could be out for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be having probably painkiller and steroid injections to get
I'm just frozen. Let me restart my computer and come back, Jez. Yeah.
All right, mate. No worries.
No worries.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to inject him up. Steroid probably that will get him through the game, and then reassess him afterwards. So, yeah, I'm not sure I agree with it. To me, it's what's that thing they used to do with horses in horse racing? They used to do that sort of stuff, didn't they? And it got banned because it was causing trauma to the horse. So, okay, are human beings different to a horse? Of course they are, but I'm not sure I agree with it. I don't think I would want to be injected up with some spurious pain-killing drug or a steroid of some description to get me through the game. No, I wouldn't. Do the players accept it? That's the question. Are they happy with it? Because at the end of the day, it's their body. And are they actually going to accept the fact that they're being pumped full of something? I don't know. It all seems a bit, I don't like it, to be honest with you. It's something I just don't agree with. But that's modern football, I suppose, nowadays, isn't it? You know, you'll do anything to get a player on the pitch, especially if you've got no other player to replace him of that level, because let's put it right. Yeah, Sterling hasn't been great, has he? He was playing there the other night. I wasn't really impressed. Jesus didn't link up there at all, did he, with Ben White? Yeah, there was two clear opportunities that I saw in that game that White's overlapped Jesus and he completely ignored the man. So, I'm not sure it's actually very good. I actually said this, right, the other night when I was Northside, Kenny, Lee, we were chatting about this. Is there an issue in that changing room? Because I don't know, there seems to be a little bit of don't seem that happy together. Don't seem that when they're walking. If you look at what happened at half time, right? Martinelli's walking down the tunnel and his arms are in the air like this. You know, he's very sort of animated. So I don't know. Are the players possibly getting a little bit fed up with Arteta's tactics? Are they starting to see through the guys saying, well, look, this ain't working. This clearly isn't working. We're here to win stuff and we're not winning stuff. So it's really going wrong. I don't know. It could be a big problem at the weekend. And I'm concerned about it. People have asked me, how do I call the game? Will it be a win? Will it be a draw? Will it be a loss? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm hoping, of course, for the win. Of course I am. But it's going to be a tricky one. And if we do have Saka on the park and he's being injected up to get him ready, or not fully ready, but on the park, then we'll see, won't we? But I'm not a great believer in rushing players back if they're not fully fit. Simple. Big up to you, Northside.
No, big up, man. Love for that. I don't know what's going on. I think I have to always keep resetting this laptop. But do you know what it is, Jez? Yeah, I feel like this manager, he was very vague about Odegaard. He didn't really want to give us a time frame when he's coming back. And he's done the same with Saka. And that leads me to believe Saka's not fit, but he's trying to see how we can get him back available against Liverpool, because he knows if we lose against Liverpool, then we're what? We're going to be 7 points behind. Calling back 7 points. I mean, we've dropped 8 points when we were 8 points ahead before in the title race. So I don't really believe him. I feel like every time he's vague, it's because the injury is bigger than what it actually is. And I just feel like just be honest with what's going on. Do you know what I mean? If he's injured, he's injured. At the end of the day, he's decided to have Sterling. You bought in Sterling. You have to put faith in Sterling. A manager has to justify his decisions. You know, you've had a business before. When you make a business decision, you have to justify that. You know what I mean? Whether it's to the bank, whether it's to your wife, whether it's to your employees, whatever it is, if you make a business decision as somebody that's in management, you have to justify that, and you live and die by your decisions. You know, so yeah, I don't know, man. Go on, Jess, go on.
It's you bang on there. You know, you've hit the nail right on the head. It's the same in any walk of life. If you're in a sport, if you're flying an aeroplane, or if you're running a business, in whatever business you run, you make that decision. You got to stand by it. And you know, there is also the fact, also, as you know yourself in working in business, if you've got a workforce, i.e., football team, or your plumbers and gas engineers, whatever, and the team is saying, boss, not really liking this idea, it's not really working. You've got to listen to people and say, okay, why? What's the problem? What's not happening here then? And if it's a justifiable reason and you haven't seen it yourself, you think, oh yeah, you got something there. I've made a mistake here. So you have to listen. And this is what I'm saying also, right? This is my question. I was saying when you were just having a reboot there, you know, if you look at some of the animation of some of these players, I mean, Martinelli was a classic on that game at half time. He's walking down that tunnel and he's going like this. You can see he's really animated. He was not happy about something. And now whether that was with another player or he was just airing his bad feeling about the way the game was going, I don't know. But I just get the feeling, mate, that it's not a happy camp in that changing room right now. That's my opinion. Look how some of the players react to each other on the pitch. They're not really, you know, it's not solidarity and I've got your back, mate, and all this and all that. There's been a couple of occasions, Saliba and Gabriel, you can see they're not, how can I put it? They're not firing like they were last season. You know, there's quite often a stare. You know, what are you doing? You know? and so, I don't know, mate. I think that could be partly a problem. And we do know, don't we, from history, once the changing room gets the ump and things aren't working, not saying I agree with this, but players have power. And if they have power and they're not happy with what's going on, then they'll just say, sod this, boss. I don't do this. I don't do it. I'm fed up with this. It's not working. I'm here to win stuff. I'm here to win trophies. And we know, we've seen it with too many good players. Van Persie, notably one, right? Saw no ambition in the club, buggered off to Man United. We can't afford, with the squad we've got here right now, Northside, to start seeing players walking out next summer. Likes of Saliba, Real Madrid come knocking. If we don't win anything this season, right, and Real Madrid come knocking, or Barcelona or Bayern Munich, let's say, for example, and they're like, we know that he's Saliba's being eyed up by the big boys. We know that. So his head will turn. You go, well, I ain't won nothing here. You know, I've been here now 5 years. I ain't won nothing. So I'm off. So what do we do then? Next summer, what happens then? Oh, that's another player that's gone. We have to replace him. Where are we going to get a player to replace him? That is money, right, that we don't need to spend on a quality centre-back. And this is one of the biggest worries I'm seeing, that these players are going to get the ump and they're going to say, I played for him. And then
we've seen it. We've seen it, Jez. Like I've been at work where there's been a change in management, and all of a sudden they're taking away your tea break, or they're taking this or doing that, and then rattling the workforce. Everyone gets together and says, you know what? Yeah, we're not doing him any favors. Anything outside my contract, I'm not doing it. Exactly. You know, I used to do favors for the other manager, but this one, nah, let him drown. You know, you know that goes on. 100% goes on, because every every work environment, once everybody's like, nah, this manager is getting on to everyone, you know, the little perks, you know, when they start rattling out, you know, the little perks of the other man, nah, we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing this. Throwing people under the bus instead of having your back, you know, whether it's to a customer and stuff like that. They just, you know, oh yeah, he's this and he's that. Once that happens and the workforce just get together and say, you know what, let's work together and the slide, get him out, push him out. It happens. 100% it happens.
You know it yourself, because if you've got a boss that you generally get on with, he's good to you, you're good to him. If he says to you, right, it's a Friday, right, and you're doing a job, and he'll say, look, guys, can you stay for an extra hour? Can we just get this done? Can we just get this done? You stay for the extra hour, yeah? And you'll go, yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, we'll help you out. You've helped us out here and there. I'll help you out. Once that's gone, and you are 100% right, once that's gone, mate, you're stuffed. Because players and workers will just down the old saying, I'm down in tools, right? And out the door they'll go, and they'll say, I've given you my best here at Arsenal. I've tried. It hasn't worked with this manager. All right, and if he's still going to be here, right, different story. If he gets sacked or thrown out the door, it's a different story. Because then the players will go, right, we've got somebody new coming in. I want to work with that new manager.
Yeah.
The thing is, man, the thing is, what is a concern is that if you lose good players, and I said this last year, you lose good players, right? They walk out because they've had enough. If you haven't got the manager that can attract new good players, you're double stuffed. You've lost players, and then other players, and we all know they talk to each other, international duty, whatever. They're going to say, nah, you don't want to go play for Arteta. The guy's a clown. Bully. You know, don't go there, mate. Go somewhere else. Go PSG. Go Man United. Go Liverpool. Go Chelsea. That's how it works, man. You know it.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I mean, Timber obviously missed the last 3 games due to injury. And we're yet to see if he's going to be available. Timber wasn't in training alongside Saka not being in training, which is a bit alarming because he got a big injury at the start of last season, didn't see him. This season, to be fair, I've been pretty impressed with him. I think he's been decent. Defensively, he's actually been good. So it's a bit sad to see that he's injured. Hopefully it's not a reoccurring injury. Even for players I don't like, I don't want to see them with injuries. I never wish injuries on players. Selection is due to your form and your performance, but I don't want to see players injured for any club. But Calafiori's also a doubt as well for Liverpool. He also was not in training. Calafiori is the one I've not been impressed with. I've not been impressed with him defensively. I don't understand why he's playing that inverted left back role. I don't think he's adding anything to the midfield. And I just don't. I see him as a liability defensively. If Calafiori up against Salah, I think he's going to get cooked. I mean, what do you think about Calafiori so far and him being injured?
One of my concerns, mate, is this is the second time he's been injured, right? So I'm concerned about that. I mean, that didn't look like a nice injury the other night, doing the splits like that. You know, do you know what actually the injury is? Is it was it groin strain or?
I'm actually not sure.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It could be his ankle. I have no idea. But no, I haven't been overly impressed with him, to be honest. It's early days. Let's be fair. It's early days, but if we've bought a player that's going to be a bit injury prone, no, that's no good. We've had this in the past, and it don't work out. So you'll see very soon. But I wish him well. I hope he comes back because we need him. Let's be honest, he's not the greatest what we've seen so far, but we need these players. We haven't, and we can harp on about this till Christmas, right? Which we probably will. But we haven't got the depth, man. We haven't got that depth. And the other thing is, you know, we have a young lad, Ethan Nweri, right?
Yeah. Keen
as mustard. In the games he has come on, I mean, when he started against Bolton, I thought he was excellent, right? Scores those 2 goals, and then we don't see him again. Now, the other night, right, he brings on Lewis Skelly. Nothing wrong with him. Looks like a decent talent. But in a game that we're sitting back anyway, you've gone more defensive. When, I'm sorry, in that game, when Shakhtar are starting to push us in the second half, we're just sitting there. Why didn't you bring on a young lad who will give you 110%? He'll go out there and give you everything he's got because he's young, he's keen, he's a new boy on the block, right? Why? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. If you got that there, use him.
No, I mean, Wenger used to do that. He used to give players the opportunity to sink or swim. Aaron Ramsey, Wilshere, all these players, when we brought in, when we had Gibbs, when we had all these players, even Carl Jenkinson had more opportunities than what we're seeing from Ethan. And obviously, some swam, some drowned. Some of them weren't good enough. Cool. You know what I mean? David Bentley, loads of players that we had before in the past would give him a chance. We even gave Sonogo a chance. We've seen Kamak had a chance. Do you know what I mean, Jez? But at least we had enough games that we could say, is this player good enough? Is this player not good enough? And it's like, we don't know the level of Ethan because, yes, we performed against Bolton. Cool. But are you good enough to actually be the backup for Odegaard? I don't get it. We're not seeing it.
I don't know. I don't know either. But it's to me, when you've got a situation like we were in the other night, it's an idle opportunity. Shakhtar are a pretty poor team. Let's put it right. Yeah, they're not great. And that was a chance for him to come on in that second half, 40 minutes or so, 35 minutes, whatever. Let him go. Let's just put him on. There you go, Ethan. Go and prove yourself. It's like, to me, it's like you've got a race-winning racehorse, yeah? And you keep him in the bloody stables, right? You don't let him out. Or when you do let him out, right, you're holding him back. Let the guy go. I mean, sorry to say it, I would start him. I'd start him on Sunday. I'll give him a go. Because he will give it 100%. He's not, and well, I mean, it depends on what tactics that we decide to play, which I'm pretty certain will be a bit defensive, which I think will be a massive problem against Liverpool. But yeah, there's so many questions, isn't there, we've got to ask? So many.
No, I hear that. There's also, I mean, some people are saying, I watched the Beanie Man Sport press conference. Timber and Saka have done some training. Calafiori is waiting for more scans. This is the problem. We keep hearing conflicting things. Like my first thumbnail was Saka's in training. Then I saw Saka's not in training, and Timber's not in training, Calafiori's not in training. What's actually real? We don't know. At the moment, we don't know what is the truth. There's too many people saying conflicting stuff. I don't know. We know that Saka's injured. We don't know how long it is. The manager's been very vague in terms of talking about these injuries. And I don't really know. I mean, we're not going to have Saliba. Quickly before we get onto the Jota injury for Liverpool. I mean, Jez, some people are saying put Ben White next to Gabriel.
Yeah. What and pot? Who are we going to put out on the? Who are we going to put out right? It's an awkward one, isn't it? It's a very awkward one.
Yep.
Right. Would I put Ben White there? Yeah, he can do a job there, but personally, I prefer him out on the right.
Yeah.
We have seen him at centre back, and he made a right cods of it when we first came to the club. So, and it's a Liverpool game. You know it's going to be intense. I don't know, mate. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Would you rather leave Ben White as right back? Because I completely agree with you. That's what I would have said. He never made his name at Arsenal playing as a centre back. Leave him at right back. Put Declan Rice next to Gabriel as a centre back, and then if Timber's available, you put Timber on the left. If Timber's not available, I don't want to see Zinchenko there. I really don't want to see Zinchenko there. But then would you play Lewis Skelly? Remember, they're going up against whoever's playing on that left is going up against Salah.
I know it's a tricky one. It is. Before we get into that, is it? Am I right in saying that Tierney's still injured? Is he still
injured? He's still injured, as far as I know.
I'm going to say it, otherwise, obvious solution we stick him there at left back. But yeah, God, dear, I don't know, down that left side.
Or would you put Kivior? Would you put Kivior on that left?
As opposed to Lewis Skelly, yes, I think he's got that little bit more experience. Lewis Skelly, I don't know. Haven't really, to be honest, I haven't really seen enough for him to actually say, yeah, definitely start him.
Yeah.
I've seen him come on. He's done all right. But this is a big game. It's a big game.
Tomiyasu isn't available as far as we know right now, bro.
He's out, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always
Jez, the only thing with Kivior is last season, you remember when we went on a run, we beat Liverpool and we went on a run, and Kivior did well in filling in at left back up until the Bayern Munich game. So maybe just play Kivior there on the left. If Timber's out, probably just put Kivior there, because Lewis Skelly, Salah's gonna finish him, and it's gonna rip his confidence. And I don't think it's fair for Lewis Skelly to be put out on the left against Mo Salah after having barely any minutes in the team and very young player. That's my opinion. I mean,
I agree. I do agree. I think Kivior's got that little bit extra experience. He's played in some big games. So, yeah, I think if you put Lewis Skelly there, mate, it's lambs to the slaughter, isn't it, basically? And you're right. It could really, really, really knock him back, because you don't want him getting skinned by Salah all the time. We could be wrong. I mean, it could, but it's a risk. It's a massive gamble that Arteta's got to look at and come up with a solution. Am I confident he'll come up with the right solution? That's the problem, because I'm not. Well, I don't know.
And it's what I mean. Cayman's saying Skelly is okay, but not experienced. Kivior would get cooked by Salah. But this is the thing, though. Like, out of the, obviously, we don't know. Timber may be fit for the game. We don't know at the moment. Yeah. But at the moment, it's been reported by some people that what's his name? That Timber hasn't gone in training. Calafiori's, and I don't want, even if Calafiori is fit, I don't want him starting. But Timber, I would have started him. He hasn't been in training, according to some people. Lewis Skelly isn't experienced. Zinchenko's a liability. Tierney's injured. Do you know? So at the end of the day, out of everyone that is available, I would put Kivior there. Am I confident with that? No. I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him starting. There's been reports that we're getting rid of Kivior in January. Don't know how true that is. It looked like we was trying to get rid of him in the summer. We didn't get rid of him. But this is what we've been saying, though, Jez. We still got options in terms of defensive options. Obviously, it's not the options that we want. We don't have that level of options when it comes to the midfield. We've got Tomiyasu out. We've got Timber out. Calafiori out. That's 3 defenders out, and yet we still have options. We have 1 midfielder out, and we have no option for the number 10 apart from Ethan that nobody really can vouch for and say, yeah, this is a game. He's ready for a game like this. And this is the thing when it comes to the rotation. The rotation for me is just blown way out of proportion in terms of our quality on the bench. We don't have the rotation in the midfield and the attack that we do in the defense. It's almost like asking, what poison do you want? What kind of poison do you prefer? Do you prefer the poison of playing a young player, or do you prefer the poison of playing a Kivior that isn't of the level and we're looking to get rid of in January?
It is like that. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Really, we all question Arteta, right? Okay, because he's in this situation now where he must be thinking, oh God, what do I do? Now, we have seen this, right, on the pitch, on the second half, and if we've had a player get injured, or when we've had a player get sent off, he stood there, you can see he's like clueless. He don't know what to do. Because he's looking at his bench, north side, he's looking there, he's going, yeah, Yeah. What do I do here then? AirPod, AirPod Albert. What we gonna do then, mate? Old AirPod sat there, mate, with his iPad, and he's going in that one. I can't remember the game now. And he's going, I don't know.
You remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? When you could go 50-50, or can I call a friend? What option do you take right now? Because we're laughing, but it's just because we've been calling this out, saying this ain't great. And at the end of the day, I mean, we've got this news here. Jota, it looks like it's been reported that Jota is going to miss the game. It seems like Jota is out. There's reports saying that Slot has confirmed that Jota won't be available for the Liverpool game. Does that give you more confidence going into the Liverpool game that Arsenal can get a result with Jota
out? Well, first of all, I don't like players being injured, but it is an opposition player, so maybe it will. I don't know, mate, because at the end of the day, they'll bring somebody else in there. You know what I mean? They've got a bit more in their squad than we got. So will it be a bonus for us? It's got to help. He's a very good player. Very good player. So it's got to help us a bit. But again, you see, it's tit for tat, isn't it? Because Jota might be out, right? But who they bring in against one of our not quite up there players, it's one of them, isn't it? You know, it's who's going to outweigh the other one. I don't know, man. I don't know. It must be a massive headache for Arteta. If I was the manager right now, right, sitting there at London Colney, like he probably is, he must be thinking, Sunday. Sunday. Oh dear. Who's I pop there then? You know, I mean, it's got to be a nightmare for the man. But hey, sorry, Mr. Arteta, you brought it on yourself, mate. You haven't brought the players in that you. Or is it not his fault? This is the thing. Now I've asked this one. Is it not his? Is it all down to Edu, Garlic Head, and Lewis, who for not getting the signings? Arteta, mate, for all we know, he could be sitting there saying, "You absolute bunch of wankers. You didn't get me the players I wanted. I told you what the players we wanted, and you didn't get them. And now look at what you've done to me. You strung me up and hung me out to dry." I don't know. We don't know this. None of us know it. But if I was the manager right now, I'd be thinking, what the hell am I going to do?
I think you should have called it out, because I think a lot of times we saw before Wenger back in the board, back in the decisions, back in this, back in that. Ultimately, as a manager, that shoots yourself in the foot, because the fans are looking at you saying, well, you went along with it. You never called it out. You never said you weren't happy. And there's ways to call it out. You don't need to call it out always in a certain way when you're unhappy with certain things. Like in a job, you can call things out without being direct, because it might rattle your manager. But at the end of the day, everyone's going to be looking at Arteta, and this is the year that he has to deliver. I think, big up to Trigger. Yes, Jota is out. Facts, Nunes versus Gabriel. Northside, I watched Uruguay versus Brazil, and Gabriel was struggling against Nunes. This is the thing. Jota has not been clinical enough this season. He's not been clinical enough for Liverpool from the games I've seen, and he's not been clinical enough for Portugal. So I don't think it's as big of a miss that some people may think it is, in my opinion. Gakpo has been performing this season. Salah's performed well. He performed well against Chelsea as well. They've got Curtis Jones that also scored a goal for them to beat Chelsea. They've got other players that have been turning up, and they do have other options coming off the bench. So I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. I just think that them feeding Darwin Núñez, I don't really rate Darwin Núñez, but he might have something planned with Darwin Núñez. How are we going to deal with him when we don't have our best two centre-backs? You know, I'd be a lot more confident going up against Liverpool, obviously, with Saliba and Gabriel. But I don't think we're going to be playing expansive. I think we'll play defensive. The problem is, if we go 1-0 down, who's getting the goal back for us? Who's in form? Jesus is not in form. Havertz is not in form. I had the discussion yesterday with Don Hassam, saying that, but we're not creating anything for Darwin Núñez, for Havertz. But a lot of times, Havertz was in goal-scoring opportunities in the box against Shakhtar Donetsk, and he was choosing to pass it to pass it to other players every single time. He wasn't taking the shot. So he was in dangerous situations, even though the way we're playing isn't great. So I don't know. I think we're going to try and stink it out personally, Jez. I don't think we've got the confidence. We've got too many players out of form. Martinelli, Trossard's out of form as well. You know, we have to call it out and say, look, the players aren't looking that great. We're not looking like we've got consistent way of attacking in terms of our attacking play and patterns of play. I don't know what our attacking pattern of play is at the moment. And I think we're going to try and stink it out and try and get away with a draw. And that for me is not good enough. We can't drop too many points against Man City. And I think the fan base will lap it up if we get a draw. But then at the end of the season, they'll be looking back at games like this, like we did last season, looking back at Aston Villa, looking at West Ham, looking at all these games that we dropped Fulham last season and saying that's where we dropped points, that's where we lost the league. You know, and we need to be winning. We need to be winning this game. I think it's a must win for Arsenal. How do you think the game's going to go? Do you think we're going to be expansive? What do you expect from Liverpool as well?
No, I don't. I think, well, look, you've just summed it up, really, in what you said. Havertz, I've been thinking about this. Why didn't he take the penalty the other night? You know, why? Maybe lack of confidence? I don't know. I mean, he's taken penalties before. So I don't think we'll play expansive football at all. I think we're going to sit there and try to absorb and absorb and absorb. Very much how we nearly got away with it at Man City. I mean, fair play to them. You've got to say that game, those players defended like lions. It was just unfortunate, that one little bit of lack of concentration, and they walked away with a draw. I can see it being a situation in this game where, because we've got a very, very weak team going up against Liverpool, I just think we're going to try and sit there and catch them on the break. But that's all very well. But at the end of the day, Martinelli is not how he was 2 seasons ago when he would rip defences apart when he broke out. That's not happening right now. He seems to run the ball out of the play most of the time. And Jesus, well, 23 games, not scored a goal. That ain't good, is it? I know he says he's not an out-and-out striker, but we need somebody to bang those goals in. And as you rightly say, if we go 1-0 down, who the hell is going to get the equaliser? So that we do walk out there with a point. Because this, and you called it, Lee, Kenny, other people have called it, this game is a must 3-point win, right? Otherwise, if we lose another game coming up, Newcastle away, for example, right? That's it, done. See you later. That's the title challenge gone. I don't care what anybody says. If we're 10 points behind at Christmas, forget it. We ain't picking that up. No chance. And I don't think I can ever remember Arsenal picking up a 10-point thing after Christmas. I can remember. We've done 5 points against United, but 10 points, that's a big ask, man. Big ask. And I can't see it. And so we have all them out again, you know, all the Arteta fans. Yeah, oh, well, you know, it's because of this. And, oh, well, yeah, no. The reason it's over by Christmas, matey, is because you didn't buy the right players, right? You didn't listen to what you should have done, and you've cost it again. And you'll get called out for it. I honestly think, Northside, be honest with you.
Yeah.
That the fans are going to start to turn and think, nah, I've had enough of this now. This is just getting beyond the joke. 5 years in this Christmas, and you ain't won nothing apart from an FA Cup. Well, that ain't good enough. Sorry, not when you spent £800 million. Enough is enough. And maybe it will be Northside that the Cronkies turn around and say, no, we've had enough now. You've had everything you wanted. You've had all the money. You've had all the support, and you still can't win. So, see you later. But the game itself, mate, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. I can't be honest. I can't. I'm not confident. To be fair.
No, I hear that, Jez. I hear that. Neither am I. I think we're going to lose. I don't think we're going to get thrashed because I think I agree with you. I think the way we'll set up to concede, try to concede obviously no goals, but we'll try and be resolute. We're not going to really give them any space to run into, and we're not really going to expose ourselves and play a high line. And we're not going to press them. But yeah, I see us winning, whether it's 1-0 or 2-1. I think we lose the game, to be honest. Northside, did you watch Goalscorer regularly, and is he as good as people hype him up to be? He's a very good striker, good link-up play. He's quick, not lightning quick. He's quick. I kind of wanted him to stay in Portugal because I felt like a lot of the players that have left Portugal in recent times have left a bit too early. Renato Sanchez left too early after winning the Euros in 2016. I felt like João Felix left Portugal a bit too early. I think he could have done an extra season. I think there's just been quite a few players that have left, and they kind of could have done with a bit more time in Portugal and develop their game, because I think it's a very big jump going from the Portuguese league to the Prem. Obviously, Bernardo Silva's done it. Ruben Diaz has done it. Deco before has done it. But there's been a lot of them. Obviously, Di Maria did well. Some of the goalkeepers as well, that came from Benfica as well. They've done well, but I just think he just needed a little bit more time. I do think he's a very talented goal scorer. I think he's a good striker, good link-up play, but good finishing as well. I think he makes the players around him better, but he's got an eye for goal. I would go get him if we're not going to put the money down for Isak. I think Isak, they want more than 100 mil. The asking price of Goalscorer is 100 mil. Well, 100 million euros, which is about 90 million pounds, roughly thereabouts. So, yeah, listen, I'd rather Alexander Isak, because I think if we're going to bring a striker in at January, I always look at the transfer windows differently, in the sense of, if you're going to get a player from abroad, get it in the summer, because then you can have a preseason and you can bed them into the squad and they can get used to playing your system and how players perform in the Premier League and what's demanded of them. And I think you set them up to win having a preseason with the team. But if you're going to buy someone from abroad in January, it has to be somebody that's properly proven, somebody that's an out and out, either world class or just below that world class mark. That's a play that's worth the risk. Otherwise, in January, I'd rather go get a Premier League proven player. We did it with Trossard, and he came in and we performed straight away. And that's how I personally look on it. If you're going to go and buy a striker in January, go get Alexander Isak, because it may be that Goalscorer won't replicate his form that he's showing in Portugal, in England, coming in at January, no preseason, and now we're heading towards the crunch end of the season. I don't think you're setting a player up to win if you're doing that. So personally, I'd get Isak in the January. If we don't, then get Goalscorer in the summer, personally. But I don't think there's anything wrong with getting Premier League proven players. I mean, Fergie used to do it. He used to go and get Berbatov. He got Tevez. Ronaldo, you already saw the talent in Ronaldo, which is why he vouched for him and got him from Sporting. But he used to always pick the best players from around, and get the best of the rest. And that's what we should be doing. I think Trossard has been an excellent signing. Under this regime, let's keep it honest, a lot of the players that we got from abroad, a lot of them ain't really hit the ground running. Fabi Vieira, Lokonga, Marquinhos, we ain't seen. Kivior looks like we're trying to move him on. Jesus wasn't the striker that we needed alone, but he started off well. He just needed a proper goal scorer for him to be rotation too. Declan Rice, I think he hit the ground running when we brought him in. So most of them players have been all right. Odegaard's done well, but there's been a lot of them that we've got from abroad that haven't really done well and haven't really imposed themselves. So I'd rather go and get Premier League proven players, unless it's a really top player, in my opinion. I mean, how do you see it, Jez? In January, I mean, what kind of player would you want Arsenal to be targeting?
I've been saying it, and you've been saying it for way too long. We need a goal scorer. We don't score enough goals, and you win by scoring goals. That's it. Simple. We need that goal scorer. Jesus isn't the man, right? Sterling isn't the man. I think he's dropped right off a cliff. Martinelli isn't going to get you 25, 30 a year, because he's dropped off. Don't know why. I thought he was a real hot prospect, that young lad. But the last 2 seasons, I think he's been awful. So we need a striker. Simple. We need that man that's going to get you that 25, 30 goals a season. We had one in Aubameyang once, and we let him go out the door, and we've never replaced the man. That is criminal. It is absolutely criminal. You know, Isaac, would he come to Arsenal? He's doing all right where he is. I don't know. That's a big ask. Would we spend that sort of money in January? I doubt it. Personally, I doubt it. And I don't know. I can't see us spending that sort of dollar. I really can't in January, mate. I think we're going to have to struggle through as we are, and God help us if we get any more injuries. Because if we start losing players in midfield, then we are well and truly stuffed. You know, if we lost Declan Rice to, I don't know, let's say a hamstring, groin strain, or ankle or knee injury, then we are in deep trouble. You know, Partey, he's you know, if we lose him, we know he could get injured. So I don't know, mate, but yeah, we need a striker, and I still don't see we're going to get one.
Yeah. Here's a super chat. Big up, Anon. Big up to you, bro. This is one for you, Jez. Jez, what's your all-time Arsenal and Liverpool starting 11?
Ooh, that's a question and a half. Right, let's go goalkeeper first then. I'm going to choose out of that. I could go Grobbelaar. I thought he's brilliant goalkeeper, absolute brilliant. So I'm going to choose Grobbelaar. Defense-wise, I'm trying to think some of the players I can remember now. Well, you've got to have Souness in there. You've got to have Dalglish in there. Ray Kennedy up front, ex-Arsenal player, fantastic player. I'm also going to stick in there, of course, it's got to be Bergkamp. No question at all. My favourite Arsenal player of all time. Henry, of course. And I said Souness, haven't I? Yeah. I'll tell you another player I'd put in there. Right, defender. Emlyn Hughes. Not a lot of people in the chat will never heard of him, but he was a fantastic player. Of course, Ian Rush goes without saying. Defenders wise, got to have Tony Adams, haven't we? And would I put Steve Bold in there? John Barnes, of course. Don't know, you could go on forever, man. If you just look at those two teams over the history, there's been some unbelievable footballers. Unbelievable.
Jez, you saw the dominance of Liverpool in the 80s. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. I didn't. I was born 92. That's before my time. Yeah. So you saw these players, yeah? They always spoken about, I mean, Souness as well. Going back doing Souness was Roy Keane before he was Roy Keane. And he was just I saw some of he won so much. I think he won 3 Premier Leagues, 2 Champions League, something like that. He won so much.
He did, yeah.
And he was a great player. And then he had his spell out in Serie A. And, you know, he continued to perform and he was a great player. When you look at that great Liverpool team and you compare it, I mean, it can only be someone like you that can compare because you've seen these players week in, week out. Who do you think was a better team? The dominance of Liverpool in the 80s or the dominance of Man United with Fergie?
Oh, that's a big question. Right. Liverpool in the Football League days, as they were back then, Div 1, were exceptional. And let's put it right. This has started in the early 70s. And they just went on and on and on and on and on and on. Great management, great managers, great players they brought in, including some from Arsenal. Let's put it right. It's a tough one. I mean, they were relentless. So I'm going to have to go with, when you look at what Liverpool achieved over that, well, really 20 years, 70s through the 80s, right up to the end of the 80s, and partly into the 90s. I'd go Liverpool. I would go Liverpool.
Would you say Man United were more dominant in the league, but Liverpool were more dominant in the Premier League, in the actual English league? Or would you say, all in all, Liverpool were still the more dominant? Because that Liverpool team were the best in Europe, not only in England.
Well, you look at the trophies they won. Was it Bob Paisley?
Yeah,
unbelievable manager. They were dominant, feared in Europe. And the time period, right from you got to go right back to 70-71 when it all started, right? All right, Arsenal won the double and everything like that. But it went on from there. It built from there all the way through. Started 74. They took Ray Kennedy from Arsenal, amazing footballer, absolutely amazing. Went on to win with Liverpool league titles, FA Cups, League Cups, European Cups, right? So it's a good move for him. And the dominance they had in not only Division 1, but in Europe was quite exceptional. So, yeah, I've got to go with Liverpool, man. Got it.
There you go. There you go. From an Arsenal man. Yeah, unbiased. Just saying it as he's seen it. There you go. And if you want to see more about Arsenal history and other clubs' history as well, not just Arsenal history, Jez has knowledge on other clubs' history as well in the English game, make sure you're subscribing to the Arsenal history and more. The link to Jez's channel is in the title. Don't be a filo da puta. Don't be a viado da merda. Make sure you go and subscribe. This is why when Jez talks about history, I just shut up and listen. I just shut up, listen. I'm like, oh, okay, I take that. You know, you learn little nuggets like a horse being buried under, was it Highbury that a horse was buried under?
That is the White Horse, yeah.
There you go. See, I remember. See, I'd be listening. I'd be doing my homework. Yeah. This is the stuff that top gooners can't give you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were building the North Bank in 1913-14, right? And basically they had horse and carts, and they'd bring all the rubble and whatever and tip it into the basic infrastructure of where the terracing was going to be. And this one horse and cart fell in, and the driver obviously was injured, but he survived. But they couldn't get the horse out, so they just buried it. Like they shot it and buried it, and apparently it's still there to this day. So
that's
mad. That's what
that's
happened. Get it out. You know, big. This isn't like a racehorse. These are big cart horses. They're big, you know, big things. And it's a white one. And apparently, the story goes, I don't know. My granddad used to tell me this story, that on a certain night, you could hear the horse and cart rumbling down Gillespie Road, where the old North Bank is. Apparently, that's an old story, but how true it is, I don't know. Apparently, but the ghost of the horse.
There you go, guys. There you go. History. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that, you know what I mean, that the club should actually be promoting more history, so we know more about the club that we support. You know what I mean? I always find history entertaining, man. I just like knowing about the history of the football club that you support and other clubs as well. But there you go, man. Make sure you're subscribing to Jez. You know what I mean? And that's a little nugget that most people online won't know. You know, I didn't know that until Jez and Kenny said it on a stream that I was on. So there you go. Big up to Isaac. I understand that a striker is necessary, but really this squad depth worries me greatly in terms of creativity, or at least attack-minded midfielders. Why is Ethan the next man up? This is the thing. Start of the season, we saw reports saying that this was the season that Fabi Vieira was going to break into the team and make his mark on this Arteta team. We've not seen that. He's gone out on loan. We've been saying, Jez has said it as well, we need a deep line playmaker. We need somebody like a Santi Cazorla that can play in that role. We did have Partey a season or two ago that was playing that role, that was from deep, you know, getting the ball, and starting counter-attacks and finding a front three. That's gone away from his game. Is it because, you know, he's on the decline? I think he's on the decline. The manager should see that he's on the decline and go and have an option for Partey. Jorginho, when we go and get a 31-year-old Jorginho, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. He was never the quickest anyway, and his pace has already left him. It's probably the first thing that leaves you when you get into when players get into their 30s. You know, we don't really have a player that can do that can transition with the ball. And you know, Declan Rice isn't that player. He's not great at playing out of tight spaces and releasing the ball. He's somebody that it says what he does on the tin. You know, he sits back, protects the back line, and he's great at that. And no more. A bit like Paulinho that went to Bayern Munich. They're just that kind of that old school DM that just sits there and defends. And I don't understand why this manager's taken away certain aspects of our game that was working well. Crosses into Declan Rice, crosses into Havertz. You know, you got to use different things. We can't be always so just easy to defend against or so predictable. You know, we've become predictable again, like we was in the first 2-3 years under this manager. Just predictable, trying to play little triangles and stuff. Like, teams are working us out, and it's looking boring because we look like we don't have any ideas. What happened to Ben White overlapping Saka, whipping in crosses? It made us less predictable. Using Partey alongside an Odegaard to create chances. You know, like, I don't understand what's going on. You know, yes, you're adding an extra player in Kivior into the midfield. He's not a creative midfielder. Zinchenko at least was a bit more. He's a bit more expansive with his game, a little bit more creative. He was looking for through balls with a Jesus Rhino, looking to play Martinelli through or Saka through. You know, and you could see, you know, in terms of the midfield, Zinchenko, what he was bringing to the team. We always just worried about him defensively. That defensively, he was always out of position, and he was always getting burnt on the half turn and letting players cut in on that left-hand side. But he was bringing something to our attacking play. I can't say that about Kivior. You know, the other day, he tried to play out from the back, gets body checked, and then he flipping gets injured. You know, he scores one goal against Man City, and other than that, what's he really affected in terms of our midfield? What's he doing? He's just an extra body to play it backwards, sideways. You need players that got vision. You need players that can play that pass. You need players that got that imagination and know how to spot the play before the opposition. You know, and we just don't seem to have that. Odegaard out, we don't have it. Saka out, you know, we don't have it, and it looks frustrating. I mean, Jez, I wanted to get this. I don't know if you've seen this. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Wenger says Havertz will never score the amount of goals of Harry Kane. He goes on to say, depends on the way you want to defend or the way that you want to play, Wenger said, when asked about who he would give the choice between Havertz or Kane. Havertz is more of a contributor on the ball to an all-round game. Defensively, he works hard. Offensively, he scores less goals than Kane and will never score the amount of goals Kane scores. He's more of a 10. He's more of a half 10, half 9. What do you make of Wenger's comments, Jez?
I think he's bang on, to be honest with you. I think he's absolutely bang on. I mean, let's get it right. He knows a lot more than I do. So, yeah, I can watch a footballer and everything like that and make my own opinion. But that man is a well-seasoned, very experienced, world-class manager back in the day. So, who am I to argue with him? I totally agree with him. He won't be. Havertz will never be that type of player. It's not there. If he was that type of player, Northside, he would have proved it already, right? And he hasn't proved it. So, can't see it myself, mate. I totally agree with that comment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a manager that saw the potential of Henry turning from a winger into a striker. Yeah. You know, this is the guy that had Canu, had an Elka that he sold, and got us I think with the proceeds of Anelka, he got us a new training ground, and he bought in Henry, didn't he? With the money that he got from Anelka. He also brought through Adebayor, that at the time nobody knew about Adebayor. Let's keep it real. Nobody knew about Adebayor like that. We brought through Van Persie, that even though he had so many injuries at the start of his Arsenal career, couldn't really get a run through, but saw the potential in Van Persie. As soon as Van Persie was available and his injuries were behind him, performed well for Arsenal. performed well for his country. I remember that famous goal that he scored, that leaping, I think was it a leaping header that he scored for Holland, Van Persie that time?
I don't know. I know about that one.
I can't remember, but he scored. I remember him scoring some crazy goal for Holland, Van Persie. You know, this is a manager that knows how to spot a striker. He knows the attributes that a striker needs to score goals. And Wenger's talking absolute facts in Havertz. And he's saying, listen, this guy will never score you the goals of Kane. He will never be an out-and-out goal scorer. He contributes to everything else but goal scoring. And it'll be funny to see how the fan base that do react to Wenger's comments, what they say about Wenger, because when we're going to keep it real, Wenger's ID in terms of players in a very small budget was better than Mikel Arteta.
Oh yeah,
Rosicky, Haleb, Alex Song, Nasri, Fabregas. Who else? Pires, Reyes. Who else did he get? Overmars. Like, look at the players that he was able to scout. Like, Diaby was actually a very talented player, barring the injuries. When he was available, Diaby was actually a very good player.
He was a good player, yeah.
Yes. It's just he was never available. That was the thing. You know, Wilshere, the same thing. If Wilshere had more discipline, Wilshere was a baller. Aaron Ramsey, people talk about Aaron Ramsey as a cult hero. Aaron Ramsey, yeah, to be fair to Aaron Ramsey, I don't look at him as an Arsenal legend, more of a cult hero. But let's be real, Jez. That guy turned up in finals. That's more than you can say of any Arsenal player right now. That guy actually was more of a big game player than any of these players because he actually turns up in finals. And yes, at FA Cup, he still got to turn up and actually produce.
Totally agree. I mean, you look at that absolute joke show of the Europa Cup final against Chelsea, right? You had Ozil, reportedly a world-class player, right? Didn't bother turning up, you know, and it was an absolute embarrassment, that game. But yeah, I totally agree with that. I would honestly say to you right here, right now, we haven't got a cup winner in that side. We haven't got one. I mean, if we got to the FA Cup final, the Carrier Bag Cup final this year, would I be sitting here confident and we're up against, let's say, Man City or Chelsea or Liverpool, or even though they're crap at the moment, Man United, would I be happy and sit here and say, yeah, we're going to win it? Wow, that's a big statement. Because I don't think we've got a cup winning team. I honestly don't think we have. I don't think we've got a proven goal scorer that's going to get you, if you're 2-0 down, like we were against Hull City, right? And a player turns up, we win it 3-2. Would we do that this right now? No. Can't see it. Sorry.
And the thing is as well, Jez, yeah, you saw with Wenger, yeah, there's a lot that we can criticize Wenger for, and there's a lot that we can praise him for. But at the same time, when he saw that Shamak wasn't good enough, he didn't say, "Oh, I can create him into a world-class striker." Got rid of him. When he saw that Bentner, there was a ceiling to Bentner, got rid of him. When he saw there was a ceiling to Sanogo, got rid of him. Even Carlos Vela for Arsenal wasn't that great, but then he goes to the MLS and he performs. You know, and he just wasn't good enough for Arsenal. Eduardo was probably the most unfortunate one with the leg break.
Yes.
You know, I mean, where do you think Eduardo would have been if he didn't get his, you know, that didn't happen to him?
Oh, I think he'd have been absolute levels. I really like that young lad. I thought he was a great potential, great. Problem is that awful leg break he suffered. I think it just knocked it out of him a little bit. And I can see why, mentally. You honestly don't want that. And so when you're going in for a challenge, you've had a terrible leg break like that. It's going to put a little bit of doubt in your face, in your head. Oh, I don't want to do this again. And I get that, because I think if I was a top class footballer, I think I'd be, maybe I'm not mentally strong enough to think otherwise, but I'd be thinking, oh, I don't want to do that again. So I don't know. I think if that hadn't, an unfortunate thing that happened to him, he would have been an absolute class, possibly world-class player, actually.
Exactly. Even took Pires a long time to get back to his best after an ACL. Exactly. I remember when Ramsdale suffered a really bad injury as well. We feared that he wouldn't get back to his best. He recovered all right. Different players are different, but it has a psychological, effect on players. 100%. Jez, you're right. It has a psychological because you're always thinking you don't have that same confidence in your body anymore.
No,
if I go for that 2-foot attack before, I'd be like, yeah, I'll be all right. But now you're like, oh, well, I know. Nah. You're getting flashbacks of, oh man, I might be out. Let me not, put 100 in
career. You I mean, look what happened to poor old Santi Cazorla. Never recovered from that ankle problem. And he was an absolute, I loved Santi Cazorla.
Baller.
Oh, mate, he could change a game like that. Yeah. I remember that game. I think it was against Everton. And we were 0-0. He got the ball on the left side of the pitch in our own half, just ran all the way through. Their team scored. And I'm like, wow, what a player. And then we know what happened to him. He did his Achilles, didn't he? And sadly, never recovered. Now, there's a great person you could have at Arsenal as a coach. Have him. I absolutely rate that guy. And I think it's an absolute shame we haven't got him back as a coach at our club. Personally,
I agree. I would even put Podolski. Podolski's a better finisher than all the strikers that we got right now.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, all right, we got him when he was sort of coming to the end, wasn't he? Really, but he was still quality. I mean, he scored some class goals in Europe. Oh man, I mean, yeah, but we haven't got anybody like that at all. That's the thing, isn't it? Sad that we are sitting here, right, talking about the great Arsenal players that we have had that scored fantastic goals and contributed to the team, and we're sitting here scratching our heads thinking, well, who have we got then? Who have we got we can compare with that? Because I can't think of anyone. We can't say that Jesus is. We can't say that Havertz is, right? And then I'm starting to run out after that, thinking, well, it certainly ain't Sterling. Who else we got then? No one. And this is
even defensively, Jez. Even defensively, we had Lauren, we had Colo Torre, we had flipping Ashley Cole. Do you know what I mean? We had so many good defenders. Sagna, he was a good defender, Sagna. We had so many good defensive players, and now people are trying to tell us, oh, nah, you should, this player, that player. Nah, man. I've seen some top defenders at Arsenal, man. Top defenders, really, really good defenders, bro. And then, alongside the Keons that we talk about, the Tony Adams and all of those, and the Sol Campbell. I mean, Sol Campbell goes without say. What a centre back. I mean, centre backs, we got some good centre backs. I'm not going to diss us in terms of centre backs, but when you look at the fullbacks that we had in the past, bro, these are proper defenders. Proper defenders, and people are trying to tell me that I need to get behind Calafiori. Sorry, nah, man. We've seen great players, man. When you've seen great, you can compare. You know what I mean? When you've seen bottom of the bottom, then yeah, you ain't seen top defenders. Even here, like, do you think we should get a left winger? Martinelli is frustrating. Martinelli gets away with it because he's got a Brazilian passport. I'm gonna just say it as it is. He's got a Brazilian passport. Like certain passports in football, you get away with doing nonsense. Like if Martinelli was English, it'd be easier for people to this guy and all that. Because he's Brazilian, he has none of the flair that I've seen of Brazilian players before. None of them. Julio Batista, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, none of them. Kaká, I ain't got none of the flair. Like his decision making, any of it. Like if someone didn't tell me he's not Brazilian, I wouldn't think that he's Brazilian. I don't see it, bro. Like I don't think this player. I think Martinelli's he's someone that can run fast, and those attributes you can find it. There's other players that can run fast. He doesn't have any attributes that I go, do you know what? Yeah, he's a special talent. He's not. He's just a player that can run fast. That's my opinion.
When old Emery, right, first started him out, I thought, wow, this kid looks brilliant. This is one for the future. Yeah. I just don't think, and I'm going to put this on Arteta, right? You tell me one player under Arteta that has improved. I can't think of any.
I think that there are players that have improved, but they've not reached the levels of improvement that I saw with Wenger. For example, I've seen Odegaard improve to how he was playing at Real Madrid, but he's not a world-class player like Fabregas was. I've seen Saka improve, but he's not to the level that I've seen, for example, Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez for Arsenal, he really grew into his own when he came from Barcelona. I've seen Havertz improve, but nowhere near the improvement that I saw from Adebayor when he first came, or Van Persie when he first came, or Thierry Henry when he first came. It's not to the same level. We used to have players develop to go to teams to win major honors. The best teams wanted our players. That was the level of development. Barcelona wanted Fabregas. They also wanted Alex Song. They also wanted Haleb. Like Man United, Fergie wanted Van Persie. Do you know what I mean? And got him and won the league. He was the difference maker for them to win the league. Like, this is the difference of players that we had. Nasri went to Man City, won titles. Do you know what I mean, Jez? Look at the development and the talent ID of the players that we used to get, and look at them now. It's nowhere near of the same level. Man City don't want Odegaard. What did Man City need Odegaard for?
Exactly.
The Man City want Havertz. Why do they want Havertz when they got Haaland? This is the difference of the talent that we had at his football club. Now you look at his football club. Yeah, some players have improved. Not to the same. We had Ashley Cole. You can't compare Ashley Cole to Ben White. Ashley Cole goes to Chelsea, wins everything. Look at the difference. Arguably one of the best fullbacks ever in the Premier League. Look at the difference. And people talk like Arteta is some miracle worker. Bro, you're not a miracle worker, bro. Wenger was spending less money than you and had better talent ID than you. You have no excuse. No excuse right now. And Wenger was losing his best talent. This manager, Arteta, has been keeping his best talent. Saka stayed. Saliba stayed so far for the duration of this process and project. Gabriel has stayed. Ben White has stayed. Odegaard has stayed. All your best talent has stayed. Partey stayed. Do you know what I mean? Like, all his best players that people would put up there that are really great, they stayed. Wenger was losing these players and still comfortably getting top 4. I know the last 10 years, but for a long time, before those 10 years, he was already losing his best players, still getting top 4. Losing the greatest player, arguably for me, the greatest player I've ever seen anyway, for Arsenal, Thierry Henry, still getting in the top 4, still challenging. This manager gets more players, is spending loads of money on our wages. We've got 2 of our highest earners, 2 strikers that can't hit a barn door, Havertz and Jesus. One on 280, the other one on like 260. And you still can't get over the line. I'm not hearing the excuses. I'm not hearing the excuses, because the excuses that was put for Wenger was he's losing his best players. We can't pay the wages. We can't buy this player, that player. This manager, Arteta, broke our transfer record in getting Declan Rice. Then he bought our 3rd highest signing, which is Havertz, for 60-odd million pounds. You're breaking transfer records and you still can't get over the line. While Wenger was dealing with pennies and still getting us. And I'm not saying that was good enough from Wenger, but I'm just saying this is the difference. A washed out Wenger was doing things that this manager couldn't do under the same restraints of paying a stadium or not having the money to break transfer records. It's not that great. When you look at it, it's not that great. Why? Because this manager is not as good as they say he is. And when we're old enough to have seen both managers, you can see the difference in terms of quality. It's not, the money that we're spending doesn't equate to the hype that this guy is getting. We should be getting over the line.
Well, if you actually make a comparison, right, you're quite right what you said about Wenger, but go back even a little bit further. George Graham had nowhere near the amount of money that Wenger had. Nowhere near, right? And look at what he achieved. So you have to sit there and think, George Graham, Arteta. Look what George Graham did in his 2nd season. What has Arteta done in his 2nd season? Nothing. You know, you can make all the comparisons. What I still don't understand is the love fest for this manager. He's done nothing. Nothing. He's won an FA Cup with a team that wasn't his. He then got his team, Northside, the team that he wanted, right? He pick and chose them, right? And we've won nothing since. Simple. Well, are we going to get second again this season? I reckon we won't even get second this year. If you want to be honest proof, I wouldn't be at all surprised we don't even get top 4. I reckon we could be 5th. Can't see it. I can't see how this is sustainable. It's, you know, this is our 9th game coming up this weekend, and we're misfiring. And it's time that people woke up and smelt the coffee and saying, well, actually, Arsenal aren't really that good. We're not. Be real. Don't cry about it. And I see all these idiots talking on different channels and whatever, saying, oh, you know, this manager is the best thing ever, and all these, you know, blah, 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 bullshit. He's not. He's not that good. Because if he was that good, he would have won stuff with his team. So, sorry, stop talking crap and wake up and suddenly realise we're in the crap. I can see it. You can see it. So what are these people watching that's different to what you and I are watching? What's the difference?
They're led by emotion, Jez. They're led by emotion. And for example, you run a business. And when you run a business, you can't run on emotion. You have to run on facts. And if the climate change, or I'm sure you had a business when you hit, you know, credit crunch and things like that, your decision making can't be on emotion. There may have been people you laid off or said, listen, mate, I've got to downsize.
I had to. Yeah, I did. I had to in 2008. I had a great bunch of lads, right? They were a great bunch. They were mainly all contractors. But I had work coming in. We just couldn't keep up with it. And it was such a point before the credit crunch that I was turning work away. We were 6 months ahead for bathrooms or new heating systems or first build, you know, new builds and all that, right? And I was having to say, sorry, can't do it. I'd love to, but I just can't afford to take any more people on. And you couldn't. There was a point in time, right, where you could get people, but they were shit. And you see their workmanship, you think, oh my God, that's awful. And you know, you yourself, you're a gas engineer. You've got pride in your job.
Yeah.
You want your pipe work to look nice and straight and clipped and done and everything, you know? You want all that. When you got people coming off a site and they're first fixers, well, you know what they're like. They just throw it in, they don't care.
Yeah.
Bloody pipes, radiator pipes are like that. You know, coming out the screed. And you think, well, what the hell? Anyway. But unfortunately, the credit crunch came. And work was drying up, and I had to say to 3 of the lads, look, boys, I'm really sorry, I've got to lay you off. I ain't got to work for you. And I always worked on the old school principle, first in, last out. Yeah. So that's how it worked with me. And it was a shame. It was heartbreaking to do it, but I can't pay people if I ain't got the money, you know? And it was a shame, but that's life, I'm afraid.
It's a business decision. And this is the thing, yeah? Like, there's times in life where you have to look at things and say, listen, pride is like emotions aside and everything else like that. What is the best? You know, and we're talking about a football club. What is the best going forward? And the thing is, this is why, yeah, I get onto some of the fan base, because I'm like, how will you deal with things when you become the head of your family? As a man, yeah, let's just take football aside for a little bit. Yeah, I'm now starting my family, living with my partner. Sometimes I have to make a decision that's not the best decision emotionally for her, but it's the right call. And I have to say, listen, emotions aside, this is what it is. This is what we need to do. I'm going to work extra, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because we need this. I know you want to go on all the dates and everything else like that. We ain't got time for that. I need to hustle. I need to work hard. That's a decision based on what we need. Or let's say bills go up. Yeah, because when you get out your mum's house, which I did in the last 2 years, bills go up. Yeah, so sometimes your gas bill, let's say it's 80 quid, then it goes up to 200 or something. Well, where's that coming from? Where's that extra 100 and 120, 130 pounds coming from? And then the food goes up and this and that. And this fan base, everything is emotional. No, you need to, as men, yeah, you have to learn to think without emotion and look at the situation and say, what is the best course of action? For Arsenal, now relate back to Arsenal. Yes, we all love Arsenal. Yeah, we all love Arsenal. Everyone's got ways of looking at things. But you cannot keep a manager in because you like him, because you think he looks good and it sounds good, but you're not getting the results. Eventually, you need to look at it and say, listen, regardless of if I like this manager or not, he has not delivered. And at the end of the season, everyone's got is going to have to look at things objectively and say, yo, it doesn't matter. The real world is not a fantasy. The real world is the real world. As much as you may like the manager, it doesn't equate one FA Cup, one FA Cup in 5 years and almost £1 billion spent. It's not good value for money. It's not. Now, how can you justify that just because you like the manager? You have to look at it objectively. I loved Wenger. When I grew up, that was the first manager that, you know, he was part of the reason I even fell in love with Arsenal. The football that he implemented was the football that I always wanted to see. And the football that he got and then bringing through Wenger, it took me a while to get, you know, to turn on Wenger, you know, after 04. It took me a while because I was like, no, you know, but it got to a point where I saw with Wenger, I'm sorry, Wenger, as much as I love you, I'm sorry, for the betterment of Arsenal Football Club, you need to leave. You are letting our best players go. You're no longer savvy in the transfer market. You used to go out in there and get us at Henry, at Overmars, all these players, at Vieira. You know what I mean? Look at what you did to go and get Sol Campbell. That deal was done in the dark. Nobody knew about it. Tottenham thought, Daniel Levy thought he was going to sign him up and put him on the biggest wages that Tottenham have ever put a player on at that time in the Premier League. And we went and got their captain and their best player. We went and got that player, bro. That is what we used to do. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you look at it now and you're like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, we're losing this, we're losing Fabregas, we're losing Van Persie, we're losing Henry, we're losing this, we're losing that. Bro, what are we doing now? I had to look at Wenger and say, Wenger, as much as you brought me so much happiness, being a young Arsenal supporter, I'm sorry, we cannot sustain this for the betterment of the football club. So when people are telling us about, but Wenger, but Arteta, we have to go with Arteta, bro, bun that, bro. Me and Jez have seen us let go. Jez has seen us let go of George Graham. He's seen, you know, other managers that have been successful. But for me, you know, this manager's not achieved not even half of what Wenger achieved, not even a quarter of what Wenger achieved. But at the end of the day, I had to look objectively and say, do you know what? To my uncle was clowning me. I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. Wenger, it's time for him to go. It's time for him to walk now. So when people are telling me, oh, you can't be against Arteta, bro, I've let go of Wenger, bro. This manager, who is Arteta to a Wenger? Who is Arteta to a George Graham? Who is he, bro?
Exactly.
Come on. Like, what are we talking about here? I don't get it, man.
You're quite right in it. I mean, I love Wenger. I must admit, when we got him, I thought, who? I'd never heard of him. I won't lie to it. I mean, we had Bruce Rioch. I knew who Bruce Rioch was. But when we got Wenger in, I thought, oh, what's this thing? And then within a year, after I'd seen what he was doing, I thought, wow, we got someone here. And it went on and it went on. And of course, we know what happened. And I was like you. It got to the point in the end that I just thought, nah, sorry, mate, your time's done. Time to move on. Let's get somebody else in. And it got to the point with me that in 2016, I said, that's it. I've had enough. I've had enough of this. You know, and 40 odd years of having a season ticket, I'm giving it up. Now, that's my choice, because it wasn't just that. It was also the fact it was getting awkward getting up there. It was getting expensive getting up there from where I am now. And I, be honest, lost a little bit of the love for that. If we'd stayed at Highbury, I probably would have made the effort more. Personally, I never liked the Emirates, and I never have. But change is change, and we move on. But the fact is, you have to make life decisions, and we had to make one with Wenger. Well, I didn't, but the club did. And, you know, it is, as you're right, it's a business. It is a business, but it's also the fans. It's our club. Without the fans, you've got nothing, man. You've got nothing that worships the badge behind you and the one behind me, right? That is what we love. And I'm sorry, managers, you might say, yeah, I really like him. He's a great manager. He's brilliant. But it's not Arteta Football Club. It's Arsenal Football Club at the end of the day. And I think the fans, some of these fans need to realise that, because they are the problem. Because why accept failure? How long do you accept failure before you say enough is enough here? Well, other teams around us are winning shit. You know, Man City are, well, he can't compete with Man City. Bollocks.
Jez, they're 3 Premier Leagues away from us, you know. From
I know.
3, Jez. 3.
It's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. And who is it? Is it Man United, one behind us in the FA Cup? I just can't get it, man. I just can't get it. And sometimes you've got to wake up and say, no, time to move on now. You've had everything. You've been given every opportunity. You've been given more money than any other football manager at Arsenal Football Club in history. Right? Wenger never spent that amount of money. George Graham never spent that amount of money. Right? Terry Neal certainly didn't spend that sort of money. And he got the 3 consecutive FA Cup finals. Right? Bertie Mee, who won the first double for Arsenal, right, got us to 2 League Cup finals on the bounce, lost them both. Won our first European trophy, right? Got us to another FA Cup final, which is very much forgotten, in 1972. Lost to Leeds United 1-0, right? He didn't have all that money, but he won stuff. That's the thing. I don't get, and also, why don't people see that? They don't see it. These managers I've just mentioned, every one of those managers I've just mentioned won stuff apart from Arteta. All right, he won an FA Cup. Yes, it wasn't his team, so that's. But I'll give him credit. He won an FA Cup. Great, brilliant. But what have you done?
They don't see it, Jez. You know why? Because this is what they say. This is what they're more interested in.
But I'm saying that if I'm going over the top of my thumbnails and titles, bro, that's how YouTube works. You know how you said your job as an engineer, right? I'm sure there's certain things that you do as a job and you engineer stuff, right? That's specific to your job. To maximize my job, because this is my full-time job, you go a little bit over the top in titles and thumbnails. It's a very common game. Go watch any side of YouTube. That's how it works, bro. I'm not here sitting saying titles and thumbnails. It's a very common game. Go watch any side of YouTube. That's how it works, bro. I'm not here sitting saying, oh, if I was to title my videos in a boring paragraph, it wouldn't get the numbers I get and it wouldn't be my job anymore, right? So you obviously do that type of stuff. And everyone knows that, by the way, as well. And you know that.
There you go.
I saw that. I saw you.
In a club is a job. It's about clickbait. Like he just said, it's about clickbait. It's about getting views. It's not about saying what's in the best interest of the club. Like he said, it's my job. I have to maximize my job, which means not say my real opinion, say what gets the most views. How can a fan of a football club say something like that? You are a fan. Whatever you say should be how you truly feel. Everybody may not agree with you, but at least you should have the authenticity to say, do you know what? I believe that this is in the best interest of the club, not in the best interest of me getting views on YouTube. That's not the, and he said, that's the game. And everybody knows that. Well, this is what we're up against. Fans that claim they're more fans than you, Jez, more fans than me, more fans than everybody else. But it's about the views. It's about the game. It's about what I have to maximize the views. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Are you not a supporter of this football club? If you see there's nonsense, it's on you to say this ain't correct, because you want what's best for the club, not what's best for your channel and everything. Bun all of that. It's about what's best for the football club. But instead, they use their influence or they use their following for, well, this is what gets me the most views, so that's what I go with. You know, it's the game. You know, everybody does it. Everybody doesn't do it. You don't do it, Jez. I don't do it. Lee don't do it. Saeed don't do it. Loads of them don't. Loads of them. Carefree Lewis don't do it. They're still able to get views. You can get views being authentic. You can get views saying your real opinion. You can get views. There's other ways to be entertaining. I speak in Portuguese. I show my true feelings, whether people like it or not. You can be entertaining without being a liar. Being entertaining doesn't mean, it doesn't coincide with being a liar. You can go to the movies and watch a movie, be entertained. You don't need to be lied to. You can go and watch stand-up comedy. You don't need to be lied to. Since when does entertainment have to be embezzled in lies? Since when?
You summed it up. I mean, I was just going to say exactly the same. To me, there's 2 points to what he said, right? First, it's a job. That means he don't really give a shit about Arsenal, right? What goes on? It's a job. He gets paid money. Good luck to him. How long will that last? I don't know. Right. Secondly, he's lying. He's purely lying, because at the end of the day, all he's interested in is earning money off his YouTube channel about the club. So he can sit there and talk an absolute load of bollocks, right? People will watch it and fall for it and believe it. And that is the problem. Social media in football is the worst thing that could ever have happened. There are people like you, Lee, myself, TJ, that actually speak facts. You know, I mean, you've built your channel very nicely, you know, and you've doubled your subscription in probably 9 months, something like that. Will I be right in saying that? Something like that. And you deserve it. You're putting the content out there, but you're not lying. You're telling the truth, right? You're saying it as you see it. And at the end of the day, I'd much rather watch somebody who's honest and gives a shit than somebody who's going to sit there and talk bollocks and lie. Fact. That's why I don't watch these people. I don't watch AFTV. I don't watch the Football Terrace. I don't watch that guy. You know, I don't watch the Highbury Squad because she talks bollocks. Right? That one, what's the other one? She Knows Arsenal. She talks absolute bollocks. Right? They're just doing it for clicks and likes.
They don't, you know what it is, Jez, yeah? This guy here, I can tell he was bullied, yeah? And that's fine, yeah? Because I went through bullying at a stage of my life. But this is the thing, yeah? You're supposed to grow thick skin when you go through that. When you get bullied, you're supposed to grow thick skin. When I was getting bullied because I was the only black guy in my estate, it grew me thicker skin. The problem, I think, with a lot of these people, yeah, is they just want to be liked. In life, you're never going to... No, everyone's not going to like you. Everyone is not going to like you. No matter what you do, you can be positive all the time. You can be negative all the time. Whatever it is that you think you want to do, at least just be authentic. Accepting life, everyone is not going to like you. People can look at you and just say, I just don't like you, just because of your ethnicity or just the way you speak or whatever. In life, you have to accept not being liked. But one thing you can have is everything you say is authentic, is the truth, is how you see it, and you're not a liar. Do you know what I mean? And you can have that, you know what? Everything I've said, if Arteta wins the league, I will 100% say, yo, I was wrong. But you know what, yeah? Everything I've said has been truthfully in the benefit of what I see is better for Arsenal Football Club. That is what it is. I have not sat here and said, oh, let me look at the analytics. Let me see what's pop. No. I have been authentic in what I've said. It's truly how I feel. And that's why I can turn up on Jez's channel when I go there. Make sure you subscribe. Arsenal, the History and More. The link is in the title. I can go on Jez's channel. I can go on Lee's channel. I can go on Dan Potts' channel. I can go Carefree. I can go Hussein. I don't ever need to double check what I said because everything I say is truthfully how I see it. And if I'm proven wrong, then I'm proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong because I want to actually look at this club and be like, you know what? I'm so happy and glad that Arsenal are winning trophies. I can now use my banter and use the way that I speak and go at the ops, go at Chelsea, go at Man United. I don't have no love for these clubs. I'm an Arsenal fan. Yeah, but until my club sorts their crap out, I look at it, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. I can't be clowning them when my club ain't getting over the line. But you know what, Jez, yeah? And I said this to Lee as well. Big up to Lee. Make sure you're subscribing to Lee Reacts. I said, you know what, yeah? When I have children, I want my children to go back and see my content and be like, do you know what? Even if they disagree with me, My dad was never a liar. He never lied, no matter what. He never lied. He never said something just to go with the crowd or to say, yeah. He saw what he said, and the way my dad was online is the exact same way he's offline. I want my grandchildren to see, if they ever see my content, to be like, oh, is that what my granddad was like? Or do you know what? Yeah, he loved this club so much he would not change until he saw reason for change. He's not gonna bend to the pressure of, oh, you're this or that, or the name calling, or the whatever. He believed in something because he believed it was the betterment for the club, and he stuck to that. And when I saw him offline, he was exactly the same. He's not playing a character. It's truthfully out of the love of the club. And Jez, you're going to get that. There's people that know you that go, the Jez that's on the channel is the same Jez offline. The Jez that when we go offline and we speak behind stage is the same Jez of what he says on. It's not lights, camera, action. Oh, I got to do this because of clicks and views. Like, where's the authenticity? The reason we started this fan content stuff, yeah, is for fans to say their real opinion. When did the fan content real opinion become everything you see on the mainstream media, or everything that everybody's trying to strong arm you to say? No, I'm going to say exactly how I see it. Jez is going to see exactly how he says it. Yeah, because it takes tough, thick skin, and it takes conviction to say, no, I don't care what's trending. My eyes don't lie to me. There are deficiencies in this team, and I've seen enough football to see that this ain't sustainable. You know, but I don't know.
It's so true, because we can all sit there and talk absolute bull, right? And get probably, Lee said it. Lee's look, you absolutely right. Bang on. He can sit there and be Mr. Positive, and he'd probably have 500,000 subscribers, right? Because he's one of the, he's part of the get along game. At the end of the day, when you speak fact, there's a lot of people who are going to say, nah, I don't agree with what you're telling me. And that's life. That's not just football. That is life itself. Yeah. It's no different if you're running your business or I'm running my business and we're in competition and we go quote for a boiler chop, right? You're going to take the customer something or other, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to come along and give my survey, and they're going to pick one of us. And they're going to pick one of us because they're going to believe in one of us more than the other one. Forget about price. Let's say we both quoted exactly the same amount of money. But they're going to say, yeah, I like Northside. I like what he's telling me. He's got something about him. He's a bit younger, but he knows what he's talking about. Jez, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. I'm not really sure he's the man for the job. That is life. That's how it works. You know, it's you can't get away from it. But talking about this football club, yeah. All right, that guy, that's his job. That's his life. Good. I wish him all the very best. But it's the club comes first, right? It's the club, not you, Mr. YouTuber, right? You can sit there and talk absolute bollocks about Arsenal Football Club, and you'll get probably, I don't know how many subs he's got, but probably 100,000, 200,000, I don't know. But if people are that naive and stupid to follow bullshit, right, and maybe they shouldn't watch football. Because the fact of what happens is on that pitch for 90 minutes on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon or whenever. That's what you see. That's what you believe. And that's what your eyes are telling you and your ears and you're listening. Yeah. No bullshit. That's what you're seeing. And if you sit there and you think, well, that's a load of crap, I'm going to say it's a load of crap. I'm entitled to. As you are. So I don't fall for it. Sorry. You don't fall for it. And there's an awful lot of other people out there shouldn't fall for it. End of.
It is what it is, man. Jez, big up, love every single time. We're going to get you on the channel a lot more. That's something that I need to work on, is collabing. A lot of times I just forget. Do you know what it is, Jez, yeah? When I first started, yeah, and so many people, I say, could you jump on? I'd be like, no. Even to now. And I always respect that people got, busy lives and people got things going on in general, content creators in general. And I always like, okay, that's the thing. I got to a point, yeah, where I was just like, I'm just going to do it on my own. because you know, in this YouTube thing, like some people say yes, they don't turn up. You've always turned up every single time you've said yes, so that it doesn't apply to you. But that's the thing. And then I got to a point where I'm like, I'll just keep doing it myself, and I will just, you know what I mean. And then I was like, nah, like, but I should, like, now I'm like, I assess myself, and I'm like, no, like I need to collab with people that support me or people that always invite me on, and that's something that I need to work on. So there you go. For all the people, oh, are you accountable for you? I'm always accountable for myself, and I always look at ways that I can do better. Obviously, as well, later on, I will be doing the FIFA career mode where, yeah, I need to fix up or I'm going to get sacked. So there's always accountability. There's always accountability. But Jez, make sure, familia, you're liking and subscribing to the Arsenal, the history and more. The link to Jez's channel is in the title. But Jez, let us know what's coming up on your channel, what you got coming up today, and you know, in the next following days, bro.
7 o'clock tonight, I'm doing a match preview of the Arsenal Liverpool game. Then Sunday, I'm doing a watch along. It's interesting that comment you just said about channels and things, right? Because it was end of last season, I sort of decided to go the other way. I was always going on loads of other people's channels, right? And I was letting my own channel suffer for it. So I sort of consciously made a decision and said, actually, I'm going to go on my own more. You know, I love having people come on. I love it. I really get a buzz out of it. Look, you know, the weekly Wednesday night show with Kenny and that. It's great fun. And I do love going like this show, Lee's show, other people's shows. But I was going the other way. And I thought, hang about, you know, the views were no good. And, you know, subs weren't really going anywhere. So I decided consciously, no, I've got to do a lot of stuff on my own. You know, and I also learned there's a lot of snakes in the grass out there that they invite you on their channel. You invite them back. Oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. So they can go and do that. So, yeah. But you live and learn, mate. You live and learn.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, man. At the end of the day, you do this for the love and you can control what you do, Jez. You know what I mean? You're in a position where you can just do what you want when you want. And that's it. The people you want to collab with, cool. The people that you don't, then it is what it is. I think I've got an announcement coming up in the next in the next couple of days on the channel. I'll tell you before, and I'll tell the channel like when everything is done. But yeah, your channel comes first, Jez. And I've told certain people my channel comes first. At the end of the day, there's a community here that I love. I love the fact on this channel, you guys don't just always accept what I say. You challenge me. You tell me when it's wrong. There's been games where I've said that player ain't played well, and sometimes the chat disagree with me. Yeah, and that's why that people that don't like us don't realize we allow people to disagree with us. You want to disagree? Cool. We put the link out. We have people on, even people that are, you know, that follow the channel, and sometimes they disagree with me, or sometimes they don't accept certain things that I say. That's football. I'm not going to cry about it or say, you know, this is and that is football. That's how I grew up watching football. My uncle didn't agree with a lot of my football takes, you know, and I didn't agree with a lot of his football takes. I had arguments with my cousins that were Arsenal fans. I had arguments with my cousins that were Man United fans or Chelsea fans or whatever. And it just is what it is. Like, it should never be, you know, at the end of the day, those discussions make football content and football discussions fun. People, everybody's got their own way. Like me and you, Jez, we'll agree on a lot of things. For example, Lee said before, the last time I asked him, he said, look, if Arteta wins something this season, he can keep his job. That's something that I disagree. If he doesn't win the Champions League or the Premier League, I want Arteta gone. Yeah. I personally disagree with that. Yeah, and I agree with the majority of what Lee says, but that's an aspect where we disagree on. And that's normal. You're not going to agree on every single point. For me, 5 years in, almost £1 billion spent, another FA Cup doesn't equate to good business or good turnover or value for money as a manager. And that's okay. We can agree to disagree. You know, there's going to be things that me and you can agree to disagree.
I think there's a misconception, and I've always said this, right? I think I've disagreed with Lee. I've disagreed with Kenny. I've disagreed with you. Right, Dan Potts, I've disagreed with him, right? And it seems to be there's this misconception by people that watch channels that we all agree all the time. No, we don't. I've been backstage with Lee after one of his shows last season. It might have been the season before. We've had a good discussion, and I've been debating it with him for an hour afterwards, off stage, backstage, whatever you call it. And he's saying, I can't agree with you, Jess. I go, well, I don't agree with you. And we'll sit there and we'll talk about it as adults.
Yeah.
We'll sit there and say, well, you'll say to me, well, why don't you agree with it? I say, well, I just don't think that what you're telling me is fact. I don't agree with you. Sorry. There's nothing wrong with that. That is life. Fact. End of. Simple.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, Jez, yeah? It's like, at the end of the day, it would be a boring life anyway if everyone agreed on everything.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, everyone has their opinion. And sometimes it may be from a generation. One thing, though, that stays and is consistent, sport is about winning. That's not a generational thing. That's a sport thing. Sport is there to have a winner and loser. And if you don't win, you are the loser. It doesn't matter about context. There's other things that is not black and white like that. Yeah. Entertainment, you could say, or music, for example. Music is about musical taste. I'm sure there's music I listen to that Jez will be like, turn that off. That's a load of rubbish. Like the guy that did my driving test, yeah, he used to play Pink Floyd. I thought Pink Floyd is a load of rubbish. I told him, I was like, yeah. I said, listen, this is my lesson. Yeah, I said, turn it off. He goes, oh, really? And he turned to me. He's an old English guy. And he turned to me and goes, what? Once you get your driver's license, you're going to be playing that boom boom shit, are you?
Well, yeah, I tend to agree with him personally.
You know what I mean? But it's musical taste. Like I like different. For example, I like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Some people may not believe that I like Gorillaz. I like Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I also like 50 Cent. I also like Pop Smoke. I also like all these other. I don't like Prince. My auntie loves Prince. Fair enough. You know what I mean? Fair enough. You like Prince. I don't like Prince. I don't like Purple Rain. I don't like that music. I had a friend. He's half English, half Jamaican. He loves like Slipknot. He loves Slipknot. I'm not going to cuss him out. That's a personal preference. But now, if we're talking about sport, no. There's only one winner. You know what I mean? There's a winner and there's a loser. It's very black and white. And the loser has to analyze where he went wrong to get over the line. This is why we got trophies. This is why we got medals. There are things in life that we can say, okay, personal choice. Jez may like a movie and I say, I don't like that movie. Or vice versa. Oh, Jez, I love Rush Hour. And Jez could say, for example, I don't like that film, Rush Hour. I thought it was nonsense. You know what I mean? It's personal preference. Certain things are personal preference, but certain things are black and white. It's not about eras and stuff like that. Sport is about winning. We remember the winners. When we see Michael Jordan, you remember Michael Jordan because of his winning. We don't remember, the B-Tech Michael Jordan. The people that weren't alive for Michael Jordan remember him for a reason. Yeah, Cassius Clay, that then later turned to be Muhammad Ali. We remember him. How many people remember people that came in second place, third place, fourth place? You don't remember him. You're not from that era. You remember the winner. We remember the winners of eras that we're not part of. The winners are remembered. The losers are not remembered. Simple as that. That's how sport goes. If we're going to talk about golf player, we're going to be talking about Tiger Woods. I don't even watch golf, but I know Tiger Woods is the best. I don't even watch golf.
How many people in 20 years' time are going to remember the 2 years that Arsenal went back to back, came second? Who's going to remember that? 20 years down the road. Yeah. They're going to say, oh, yeah, but I remember when Arsenal came second to Man City. Get out. Nobody's going to remember that, but they'll remember that Man City won it 4 years on the trot. Because it's one of them facts. Well, Man City won it 4 years on the trot. Oh, who comes second to them in those 2 seasons? Well, I don't know. Can't remember. Because you haven't won. Fact.
Exactly. I'm not from the Clough era. Why do I know about Clough? Oh yeah, he's spoken about because of what he won. That's the only reason. Otherwise, Clough would have been a manager. If you ask me another couple of managers from his era, I can't name you them. Apart from Liverpool, I can't, because it's not my era. So I'm not going to remember. Well, I'm only going to look up the winners. I'm going to look up the people that were successful. We talk about Mike Tyson because he was successful. This is what we talk about. You know, we don't talk about who's second place and that. You want to be remembered. You want in any type of sport that you will think about. We talk about Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, winners. That's it. That is what sport is around. It is not around, but context. Nobody looks back in the past, say context. Nobody cares. Who won, who didn't win. That's it. Simple as that. If Arsenal fans come up with, we're invincibles. If the team that came second says, but context, we ain't hearing that. We're saying, but we won the trophy. We're the invincibles. We won the trophy. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No.
So, go on, Jez.
No, I mean, you're quite right. There's a young lad that goes in my pub. He's about, 23. Really nice guy. Massive Liverpool fan, right? Born and bred. He works down here now. And he was chatting to me. He said, "Hey, Jez," he said, I was watching your stream a few weeks ago. He subbed to my channel. And he said, yeah, you were talking about that fantastic 89 game. And I said, yeah, it was amazing. And he said, what a team, what a manager you had. And I said, yeah, it was brilliant. It was fantastic. And he said, who was the Liverpool manager? And I said, what, you don't know? He said, no, I don't. I said, it was Kenny Dalglish. Oh, was it? Oh, well, I wouldn't know that. I said, well, of course you weren't. You weren't born. But, you know, at the end of the day, he knows the game, right? Because it's an iconic game in football history, right? And he's a proper, really, you know, he loves Liverpool to death. Talks about them all the time. And he actually said, who was the manager for Liverpool? And I said, Kenny Dalglish. And he went, oh, I don't know. Why? Why did he remember? Because he probably knows the history at the time, because he's big into it, but it doesn't stick out in his head at the forepart of his brain about, Kenny Dalglish was the manager that season because we lost. Fact. It's nothing to remember for them. End of story. There you go.
There you go. And this is why people like Jez, people like Matty, I'd love to meet them one day. We've never met. I'd love to just be in a pub and just talk football for hours, just away from YouTube, you know, just talk. And I'm sure there's going to be, this and that. But you know what? It's going to be authentic. It's going to be real. It's going to be funny, you know, but it's going to be proper football conversations. And I feel like that's the thing I want to establish on my channel. And I'm sure that is what you're establishing in your channel as well, Jez. We just want authenticity. We just want people that love their club. It doesn't matter if you don't represent Arsenal, whatever club you are. I always tell Chelsea have got their new manager. I've always said, look, you're doing well, but it'll come to a point where you're going to have to demand more. You're going to have to get over the line. Not this season, first year, fair enough. He's just got the job, fair enough. Yeah, and he's doing good things. Same with Liverpool fans. I always say, Slot's doing well, but there will come a point he has to get over the line. And if he doesn't get over the line, I'll have the same energy with you guys, because that's how you support your club. You have to hold your club to standards.
Yeah.
Okay, the first year, cool. He's implementing things, fair enough. You're going to give him a year, cool. You'll get to a time where they need to deliver. And if they're not delivering, then we'll have questions about that manager. And that's how it goes, you know. Make sure you're subscribing to the Arsenal history and more. We're going to get into this. It's pouring down. Anyway, big up to Tony. Big up to you. I watch your content because of your authenticity and consistency. People will like you or hate you. That's life. But never sell out. Big up Northside and Jez. There you go, man. Big up to you, man.
Big up Tony.
Jez ain't going to change. Jez ain't going to change. Jez ain't changing.
Never. Never. Actually, talking about what you were just saying about meeting up. Next year, August, Dow is coming over from the States with his family. He's going to see Oasis in Edinburgh. And he wants to have a meet up in around the Emirates area, around there. So I said, yeah, I'm sure there'll be Aaron's going to come along. Nice lad. I'm going to pop up. Like I said, I'll take him round where the Highbury area is and give him a little tour around there. and then we'll pop up maybe the Drayton pub, and have a few drinks up there. So that'd be quite fun.
That'd be good, man. I'm on that. August. That's my birthday times. That'd be great.
There you go. That'd be a day and a half then.
No, that'd be cool, man. We gotta make that happen. Definitely gotta make that happen. 100%. People, make sure you're subscribing to the Arsenal history and more. As you can see, Jez has a lot of knowledge, a lot of memories. You know what I mean? And it's someone I always go to and ask about things that I don't know whenever I get the chance. Jez, what do you think about that? Jez, what do you think about George Graham? I've always asked him about George Graham because it's before my era, and I always ask Jez, what was George Graham like? What was the state of Arsenal in that time? What was it like? And this and that. You know, there's a lack of that on the internet, showing the history. You know, I wanted the same way they kind of done a documentary on Clough. I wish they did it on George Graham, you know, so that I could see the way the players were playing, etc., you know, to actually see it. There's a lot of interviews of George Graham talking, but I wanted to see also the football matching the interviews and stuff like that, just to get a feel of how it was, how Arsenal, you know, played visually and stuff like that. But listen, for all the Arsenal history and more, make sure you're going to Jez. His channel is the Arsenal, the History and More. Link is in the title. Love Jez for jumping on. Always a pleasure. We're going to get you on the channel a lot more. And yeah, big up to everyone that's locked in. We're going to redirect now to Carefree Lewis. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Big up to Lewis. Make sure you say Northside Raid on the way in. And we're out. And I'll see you guys for the FIFA career mode, the Northside El Sakiko. We're out. Love.
Take care, all.